Homework. My personal opinion is that they're giving too much homework in the schools, and parents need to complain. This is a political issue, not a school issue, and it needs to stop. In the meantime, children need to do homework. The very best thing you can do to help them is to create a routine, a time, a place where children do their homework. And they need to have 2 rules: no television and no music that has words in it, so they can concentrate. They'll tell you that they can't do it without it, and the bottom line is they can't do it with it because they're listening to the music. I mean, what's the point otherwise? So there are a couple techniques you can do for helping a child to accomplish homework. The first one is to ask a child to come to you and tell you what they're going to do. And then tell them that at the end of the homework time, 2 hours, let's say, they're going to show you what they did. For a lot of children, this will help them to organize their thoughts, right? I'm going to do some math, I'm going to do some English, and I'm going to do some social studies. But it gets them to get lined up what they do. With the kindergartners and the first graders and the second graders, it's to sit down and say, and you may be doing homework with them. There's a difference to watching them and helping them do their homework and doing it for them. If you're doing homework for your children, I would remind you of this. You won't be taking the test at school, and your child will. If your child has the security of thinking that they're doing it because they're handing in the homework, and the teacher thinks your child knows how to do it because your child's handing in the homework, then your child's going to be caught short on the test. The point of homework, for me as a 4th grade teacher, is to show the teacher whether they learned what was taught at school. If you are not a teacher, if you don't understand the stuff that they're doing, which is understandable depending on what grade level it is, then it's not your job to teach your children. You need to communicate with the teacher, though, if the child is failing to be able to do the homework. You need to let the child know that. But to show you what they're going to do, and then at the end show you what they did. Now, if a child comes to you, and let's say they didn't do the math paper, and you say you didn't do the math paper, and say, well, I didn't know how. I go, oh, okay. Well, I'd be glad to show you. And show them sit down and do it with them, or show them how to do it on a time that's inconvenient to them. Now, if they didn't know how to do it, they needed to come and tell you that in the middle of the 2 hours. By doing it on their time, helping them on their time, then what you're saying to them is, don't play that game with me. You have a job to do. If you can't do your job, you need to let me know right then. If you can't help your child, let's say with the math paper, write a note to the teacher on the top. My child did not understand how to do this, and I am not able to help them. And then it's the teacher's job to do it. One of the things that we figured out to do is to tell children, give children blocks of time to do something. So you look at a child. Now, this is not the kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, even the 3rd graders, probably 4th grade and up. You look at a piece of paper and you say, okay, you have a math paper, and probably if you just did it and you did it well, it would take 20 minutes. So what I'm going to do is put 30 minutes on the clock. If you do the work in 30 minutes, it's legible and the work is done, okay, then you can have a 5 or 10 minute break. And people will say, well, we don't have time to have a break. But then they'll tell me they're taking 3 hours to do the math paper. So this gives the child a personal incentive to get the work done. If when you look at the paper before you send them on their break, they've missed all the problems, they've just written in whatever, then that isn't going to work. But for children who are just undermotivated to get something done, breaking things into chunks. Okay, they come back to do the second one. How do you get them back? The minute drill. You're on the minute drill. You have so many minutes to be back for each minute. After the free minute, it will cost you time off of your next break. Okay? That's in the Sandy McDaniel discipline videos if you didn't understand what I just said. Okay? Just the minute drill. So then you tell them the next one, and you have so many minutes to do it, and then you have a break. Something as simple as a 10-minute break can be the motivation for some children to get the homework done. If a child forgets to take their homework to school, which happens more than you think, and part of your process is, once you do your homework, put it in your backpack. Then at the end, put your backpack by the door, because you're not responsible for your child getting the homework to school. The child is. Or if the child fails to do their homework at all. In this day and age, with all the technology we have, you can find that out. And you check, and you find that your child's not doing his or her homework. Collect all the homework for the week. Get the child up on Saturday morning at a unreasonable time. Unreasonable for them would be like 7 o'clock in the morning. The child will do all the homework for the week in succession up until that job is done. The point is this: do your homework each night. And this won't happen again. Otherwise, just plan to spend every Saturday morning doing your week's homework. Because your job is to do your best in school. And a part of that job is to do your homework. It's not acceptable to let it go. Usually one Saturday will take care of the laziness. And the child will hop to and miraculously get the homework done. Projects. Don't do your projects for your children. And don't stay up the whole night before your child's project is due. Let them fail. 4th grade, they don't turn in their project and they get an F or D or an F or a 0 or whatever. That's not going on their resume. That's not going on whatever they send to college to try to get in college. And the message to the child is, you know what? You didn't plan ahead. You can get a child to get a calendar. They get something that's due. You can write on the calendar, project due in number days, project due in number days, project due in number days. So they look at it and they say, wow, I better get into this. I better do it. The other thing is, don't do your projects for your children. I taught 4th grade. We would do missions. Kids would build a mission. There would be a mission that was with popsicle sticks, and it was tilted, and there was stuff glued all over the place. And it was obviously a kid project. And right next to it would be an architectural wonder, a masterpiece, obviously done by a father or a mother. So what do you do with that as a teacher, and what is the message to the child? The message to the child is, you can't do it good enough, so I'll do it for you. Don't enable your children. Don't do for them what they can do for themselves. Let them fail. If they fail, they're going to learn the lesson. And projects are a great way to learn to plan ahead. The most important message to give your children is this: you have a job. I have a job. I'm your mom. Dad has a job. He earns the money. Could be both of us earn the money. Whatever your job is. Your job is to do your best in school. Because your ticket to better choices is that you graduate, at least from high school. And if you're fortunate enough to go to college, then you get a college degree. But the very minimum of requirement in this house is that you do your best every day. We do not appreciate free education in this country. And that's a mistake. You may not appreciate it, and you will do it. Homework. Get them to do it.